podcast.
Fabulous. Hello and welcome to Emma's podcast. So today, yes, we are starting with our second podcast, not the second podcast, but the second interview, our conversation, I would say, with somebody. Then I got actually to know her through networking from Christine Spencer and Sajat. But I just love her very much. She's awesome. So first of all, she went to school actually because she's from Europe, which I love it. She went to the University of Miskolc and then went to the International House of Budapest and went to the University of Cambridge. She was an English, she was a teacher actually for English as foreign language, which is awesome. A sales coach, which is great. So we're going to be talking about that too. A teaching assistant. And you can hear her right now laughing. So this is going to be a cool one. I'm telling you guys, stay tuned. Continue to listen. This is going to be an awesome podcast today. A teaching assistant and moved to an English as second language teacher, which is awesome. And she is actually an English language coach. So welcome to Andrea Mendel. And she on Empower Your English Voice, which is awesome. So hi, Andrea. How are you doing today?
Oh, hello, Emma. I'm doing really well. A little nervous because this is my first podcast. Doo-doo-doo, everyone.
Yay! Woo! And I am so happy.
I am so grateful. Thank you, Emma.
You into it. So,
Thank you.
So you grew up in Hungary?
That's right. I was born and raised in Hungary. Yeah.
Yep. And you moved from Hungary to England. Am I correct?
Yes, correct. When I was 21, just before my 21st birthday. And
now, what was so what was the reason for you to move to England?
Oh, do you want the short answer or the long answer or the middle?
We have time, so go ahead. Whatever you feel like sharing.
Cut a long story short, I fell in love with the English language. My first love when I was 14. That's when you start high school in Hungary. So, but I had a very adventurous sister who is, well, I still have her, who is 2 years older than me. And she went to Germany to be an au pair because she was studying German. And by then, maybe I was 18 or 19, I got a little bit fed up with everything that I was doing, which I'm not going to go into now. I played basketball. I started university, wrong choice. And then all of a sudden, I thought, that's it. I'm going to England. I'm going to Britain. And I'm going to be an au pair. And that's just what I did. I wrote the letter. I organized everything. And October the 16th, 1995, I landed in a small village named Hockley, and the grandfather picked me up because I took a coach. And when we were still in Hungary, we thought the family had a chauffeur, a driver, but it was the grandfather. So that was so funny because we just didn't have a clue. And then my marvelous adventure started, and I loved every minute.
Yeah. So, so you end up as an au pair, work for a family. So what happened after you went and finished your year? Did you do an extra year or did you just decided to stay? How did you do that?
Oh, my goodness. Do I have to bear it all today?
No, you can just say, say, well, I moved and did a school and we will do another part because I'm curious.
So that was in October, I landed. And then I went to the famous Bull in Hockley. And if anybody's listening, they're going to go, wow. So that was 5 minutes from my house. And I went there one night to a pub because, it's Britain. Everybody goes to a pub.
Well, yeah, you go to the pub. Sorry, people. Yeah, if you don't know that here in the US, we go in England and Ireland, you go to the pub like you go to Starbucks. All right. Exactly. This is how it rolls.
Exactly. And I actually was going to meet someone else who stood me up. And then I met my first husband that night. And then we fell in love. Oh, my God. But
You
then,
know, don't you love perfect synchronicity? You're supposed to meet
uh,
somebody and the universe said, no, you're not, because this one is just hoo-ha. We're going to put you on a path to your mate. That's
yeah,
awesome.
even though the story doesn't end well, we are actually still friends. And we were married for 9 years. And there was no way I could have escaped this relationship. It was so meant to be. I just had to, go through that
And
experience. So
that's
that was
okay.
them. Yeah. And
It's
then,
awesome. It's
well, he
great.
was, he's British, he's English. So how can I not fall in love with him? Dark hair. He didn't have the typical British looks. He looked more Italian. So anyway.
Oh, nice. Thank you for representing my country.
Oh, okay. Say no
I
more.
love it.
Yeah, that's another country. I fell in love with Italy. But that's another story.
That will be for another, as I
It's gonna
said,
be
I'm
a
telling
long
you right now,
podcast.
guys, before we're done with the podcast, we're going to have Andrea coming back probably next month for a part 2. And it could be a part 3 and 4, because now I'm totally curious about everything. That's going to be fun.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is so fun. So yeah,
So you
then
start, okay.
then
So, yeah.
I then I was at au pair for a year, and then I got married very quickly, and then I started my first job, which was waitressing. But at the same time, I was educating myself, going to school. So I did
Yep.
my advanced Cambridge
Degree.
exam, then the proficiency Cambridge exam, language exam. And the more I spoke English, the more I wanted to share this wonderful feeling of being able to communicate with everyone. So then then the problem started in the marriage. So I came back to Hungary. That's another story. And then I started working in a private language school, which was wonderful. And then I also did my CELTA, which is a Cambridge English language teaching to adults certificate. And also I enrolled into the university course. So I went to university, which was in Miskolc, which was part-time at the time. So that was great. So I could teach. And I was living, eating, breathing, teaching English.
So
So
you
I
had a
loved it. And
huge,
my students loved it. Now
okay,
that was in
lady,
Hungary.
you're going too fast.
I
Slow
know.
down. Slow down. We have time. We have an
Okay.
hour.
Okay, cool.
Slow down. That's what I love with Andrea. She's like, whoa, your passion for, so you said you said something very interesting to me, is you discovered a passion to the language and the passion to be able to communicate. That to me is very profound, because, English will never be my first language. It's my number 3, 4, something. And it's for people who, even the kids, they go to school, in the old days, I don't know now how they're doing it, because I don't have kids around me, so don't know. But when you get a second language, I remember when I was in high school, they started to teach you started with Greek, Latin, and you had to pick up one language, which was or English or German. So we picked up English. Then there was a second language you had to, you wanted, it could be German, if you took English, or Spanish, and we took Spanish. It's nice to hear, the passion you had to realize that if you can speak another language, you can go and live in a country, especially English is the international language of business. So in most countries, they do speak English. I know Mandarin is one of them coming up, but the strongest one is still English. So having understood that, this gave you an idea to just said, well, if I love to understand this, I want to become an English teacher for second language. Did you come at that time, the idea that, oh, I want to teach this, I want to do this for a living, or did it come later on in your journey?
It came quite quickly. So I must have been, I can't remember, I was about 22.
Okay.
23. So yeah, as soon as
you're,
because I loved my experience in Britain so
Yep.
much. Anybody,
Yep.
I had German friends. I had a Dutch girl. I had a Turkish girl. She helped me buy my first cider, 50p.
Yeah.
Then my husband, British. Then you name it. So that opened up this world for me that I could speak to anyone.
Yep.
So I think that was
Your armament, your big
yeah.
armament.
I just
So
wanted to share that
yeah,
feeling.
but so okay, so you got that armament that like, okay, this is what I want to do. How do you go from there and say, okay, I want to teach English as a second language? How do you formulate this, and how did you figure it out to, okay,
Okay, you need to understand Andrea's mindset before,
good.
like 20 years ago. I was in Britain, they used to call me happy-go-lucky, which is changing now fast because now I'm
Yep.
becoming a businesswoman, right? But at the time, I didn't think. I just didn't. I was fearless. One thing came, one, I was just following my emotions. I don't know. And because I had problems with my marriage, one day I just packed up and I just came back to Hungary. And then I thought, okay, I need to get a job. Well, I want to teach. And then so I went to one language school. They didn't want me. And then I went to the second language school where they loved me and I loved them. But there wasn't any conscious decision. I can't remember anyway. Yeah.
Well, I don't think, most of the things we do is based on instinct and what I call it, the universe tells you, or whatever you feel driven to do, then start to sit down. Because when you start to sit down and put a plan, it's like, oh, that doesn't sound good, because you're going to control every single step of it. When you go with your intuition, what we call it, you go with the flow. So from the idea, the situation you were in order for you, it looks like, to get where you are today, you had to go back home and restart and do with the second language there, which would have been easier than in England. Because I believe in England, that would have been maybe a little harder to find a school where you teach second. You could actually, but it would have been a little bit harder to teach people for English with second language. I don't know. That would be my assumption.
That's coming up in the story.
Okay, see, here we go. I love
what
it.
can I say? You're just a great podcaster or interviewer.
I'm telling you.
I
told you last week. I told
you. Oh,
so,
such a present. Such a present. The gift of life, right? Being present and just saying yes to things. Yeah.
So you started in that school.
Yeah.
So how was the experience for you? How did you love the teaching, and who were you catering to? Was it kids? Was it adult, or was it a mixed?
So the school is actually called London Star. So big shout out to London Star, which is still in Hungary, in my town. And it was adults, and it was private school. Okay. So adults used to come to the classes after work. Yep. But we also had like unemployed courses.
Yeah.
So I just loved it. I loved every minute of it. And they loved me. What can I say? That's it. Without feeling, because it was just, I really embraced it. And people loved my enthusiasm, my love for the language. And I loved the methodology because it was communication based. So the whole class, we would get them up, get them mingling, and it was communicative. It was fun. We were the same age,
It's interactive. You're really connected with your audience. You're really connected with people. So the people will participate instead of sitting and watching you say, okay.
No. Yeah.
No. That wasn't the case. You make them extremely interactive, which is great.
And I'm very grateful to the lady, Susie, who's got the school, who is the manager, the CEO, or whatever you want to call her, owner, because she gave me a really, really good foundation. Foundation is always important, isn't it? Because then you can build on and have the confidence and the courage to then do your own thing, because the foundations are there. Yeah.
You have to start somewhere. So for people to understand, you don't come and do things like that. It starts as actually an apprentice, and you become a journeyman, and you can become a master. So you have to start messy. You cannot start on the top. If you do, well, good for you. But most of the time, you don't start on top. You start at the bottom and start to learn. You have to learn. You have to learn your skill sets, how to be comfortable, because again, like you said, it's not only communication, it's the presence, it's how to connect with the student, it's how to make it successful for them. Even though you can learn the methodology and everything, it's how you're delivering and you're connecting, because you can put two people with same student and same course, then the experience will be different because it depends on the person who's teaching.
Yes. So that's a very good point. And it just reminds me, I forgot to say that, of course, they put me with the beginners. So literally we started and,
well, that's how you start. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm very thorough and I worked really hard. And then as the months went past, the years, I don't know, I only did a few years there and then I went back to Britain. So it was a little bit.
Yeah, but you had to start somewhere. I love the fact they give you not the easy task, meaning the people who already were fluent. They gave you the beginners who knew nothing. They taught you actually to deal with the beginners, what to me is the right thing to do. You don't give the easy thing first. You give the hardest things because you have to be able for you to really teach those guys. At the end, they should be able to formulate some sentences, not maybe perfectly, but they should understand and start to formulate and understand. So for me, it's perfect. What they did was the smallest way for you to do that, then give you the easy road. So you said after that, you went back to England.
Yeah. Well, we were trying to work on the marriage or make it work, but eventually, because my first husband didn't want children and I did, so there was no way to reconcile, and it was really, really difficult and painful when we eventually got divorced when I was 30. So yeah, that was it. And but I stayed in England because then I met my daughter's father, who was Hungarian. But then he came out to England. So yeah, so this is quite
Isn't it funny?
Podcast.
Isn't it funny? No, I have to. That's kind of an oxymoron. This one, isn't it funny? You go to England, you fall in love with a British guy, and then hey, who shows up?
Yeah.
Nope. The next one will not be an English guy.
Yeah.
This is funny. Isn't it awesome? It's like you got away of your country, and what happened? Well, you found a way with somebody from your own country. That's awesome. It's funny. And you had to go to England to meet him, which is even funnier. It's like
and so so he moved to England. So I still stayed. I actually didn't really want to stay at the time, but again, that was a decision that we made together. So then that's what happened, and then
what did you do?
Things happened.
That's okay. What did you do in the meantime? Because you were in England. Did you work? Did you do something that was interested in England? Or what did you do? Were you a teacher? What were you doing?
So I remember I did try after I turned 30, I did try and got the courage up to write some CVs and, go to some language schools. But most of them, the ones that I wanted to work in, were in London, and I lived an hour from London. And so I remember that it just wasn't working out. It just wasn't meant to be. Although I did teach in Cambridge for 2 weeks in a summer school.
Nice.
But eventually, unfortunately, I don't know, no regrets. But I settled for a job in Marks and Spencer's. Have you heard of Marks and Spencer's?
Yeah, I did the sales coach. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, which again, I think was a great experience. By now I was also a barista in Marks and Spencer's. I trained to be a bra fitter, so I can tell people.
Well, you know what? For me, you didn't. The way you took that job was to continue to teach you to interact with people. It wasn't only.
I was still a coach.
Yes, and coaching them, because it's easy to be. Here's the deal. When you're a coach, it's easy to be behind a desk and telling people what to do. However, when you're in retail world and you're a coach, well, you're not behind your desk. You're on the ground, boots on the ground, and working with them, which is different. It's a different way to do it. So for me, it's a great way because it expands your skill set at the end of the day. If you think about it, it may be like, I took the job. No, there was a reason. It's continue to develop your skill set. You needed those skill set to where you are today.
I think so. I think
out of it.
it's a really good way of looking at it,
Hmm.
and it empowers
Yes.
us to look at our past like that, and we shouldn't
And
feel ashamed or anything,
oh, you
because
should.
I was
Okay.
just a sales coach and I wasn't doing teaching. Yeah.
Actually, you were a sales coach, but the deal is you should not be ashamed of what you have done because you have to look at what you have learned. And I'm sorry, but sitting behind the desk or teaching somebody in a classroom doesn't show you the real life. And you went and did the real life because you talk with different people, different level, different education, different way of seeing things than they saw when you were teaching them. So it really developed the skill set of communication. You have to see it this way.
I think once and for all, I didn't see it now, but now that when I get my clients, I am so confident.
Yes.
In the fact, in my method, that what is the message, what the message is that I want them to take away is that you don't need perfect English to be successful. And actually, all those things that they, that they taught you in school, or the way they were teaching you, and they conditioned your mind, those are all, you need to unlearn those things actually, because they are hindering you. They're not helping you.
Whatever you've been taught in school is a tool. It's part of your toolbox, but that is not the real life. The real life is when you go to work and you have to deal with your English. It's different people talk different ways. There's different word meaning different thing. It depends on where they are in the sentences. There's a lot of things that for people who are in a university and think, oh, well, I got my MBA, I'm going to do this and that. I was like, well, welcome to the real world. That's going to be a slightly different story than what you think it is. And people the younger generation that comes to the workforce don't understand, unless you have been working in retail and as a kid, you understand what the workforce is. But most of them, you get your education, they're teaching you things, they are part of your toolbox. It's not because they're teaching you, and I've seen it quite often in my line of work, where they come because somebody gave them a theory, a thing, a plan, and they think they're going to apply it to a company, and they don't understand how it works, and it fails because they think they can apply what they learn at school directly to the work environment, and it's not the case. So you had the opportunity with Market Spencer to actually further your skill sets. And for people, and the communication is the key, because when you're in retail world, you talk to different people in retail, and not everybody understands what you're saying. You have to adapt the way you talk to them.
Yes.
Yes, and that's what you do. You cannot say no.
Yeah. But you know what else Marks and Spencer taught me? They had this great thing, this method, what would you call it? This can-do attitude. They really drummed that into me. That was the first time I met with this kind of company. What would you call that? Company.
It is a can-do attitude. It is nothing is impossible. Everything is thriving.
They used to take people to listen to these influencer people on stage or something. I wasn't there at the time. So we kept hearing this can-do attitude. And they also taught us to look at the store like it was our own shop, corner shop. So take responsibility for your own actions. Right?
Exactly.
That's what they gave me.
And you don't see this that often, even in retail. They, even here in the US, they don't taught this, and that's too bad, because if they were, then people will be involved. What they did is involving people, so they were not employees or numbers. They were part of the family. And I love that. That's why Market Spencer has been successful, because they allow their employee to thrive. They did not put them or reduce them as robots. You're going to do this, and that, and you don't think. They make them participate to the life of the store. And that's the best way to be successful, actually.
They are exceptionally good at many things. There are a few things that,
but that's like
they're not perfect, of course.
No, they're not perfect.
So but I have the insight.
When you look at the mentality they had, they encouraged their employees. They did not reduce them as a number. And that, to me, when you involve, even in corporate world, and I talk a lot about it, and with other coach, we talked about involve everybody. Because the person, once somebody in a room will have a solution that will help the company. Involve everybody. It's not who I like. It's everybody brings something to the table. Okay, so you went from Mark and Spencer, and then you got your teaching assistant.
There was one more interesting thing about Marks and Spencer I want to mention
Yes.
that I keep thinking. I don't like to attach anything special to it, but to me, it's special because there were about 100 employees, and I was the only one who wasn't British, who wasn't a native speaker. So to me, that was another, victory that that I actually got the job, because
Yep.
they thought I would make a good team member. So, yeah, moving on. Then what happened?
Well, I see the teaching assistant.
Oh yeah. Mm, hmm.
I'm like,
Okay. I'm
oh yeah,
I'm actually gonna
what's up?
I'm actually gonna just say some stuff happened, and then I left Marks and Spencer's after 10 years,
Yep.
and I went to be a teaching assistant at my daughter's school.
Oh, nice.
That's another thing I really needed to like. That was an experience. Yeah. So that was an eye opener working in a primary school in England.
Well, yeah, you went from adult to kids. It's a different world. You went from one
Um,
extreme to the other. It's like, oh boy.
yeah. I actually had a special assignment there. I was looking after a little girl who was 5 years old and couldn't speak.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't know what hit me. I was praying morning, midday, and night because I kind of got myself into this situation willingly, sort of. And I thought, so I really did my best, and it was a life-changing experience as well. It just lessons learned made me stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger,
Yeah, and they
So
always do it through a form of a life lessons. It's like they don't give you a nice ride. It's like you're gonna go to hell for 5 minutes. We're gonna challenge you, not to hell, but for challenge you, can be hell too. And we're gonna challenge you so you have something you learn. And it really showed the thinking out of the box, being stressed out, and really think deep of, oh, okay, where did I put my feet in? What was wrong with me when I took this? What totally is I'm insane. But you feel the challenge. You can feel defeated at time. You can feel I'm going to give up universe because holy crap, this is not for me. But you're still thriving. You're still doing it, and you're still pursue. And you can see once a while a little light, a little light out the end of the tunnel. But those are hard experience, but they are good experience.
it was, yeah, it was very hard. But I think I needed that because you have to get to the end of things. You have to get to the end of yourself. So then you get the courage or the desperation to change.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I left, that was at Christmas actually. And that Christmas I actually spent alone, completely alone, because by then we were separated with my daughter's father, and I bought them the ticket. This is a few years ago. They went to Hungary. I was still in England, and I spent about 10 days alone at Christmas. And when I got to the end of that time, I decided that this is going to be my last job with a boss. That's it. I'm going to be my own boss. I don't care what happens. I don't care what I need to do. I don't care what it takes.
Welcome
it was
to
just
the club.
it snapped. Something snapped, and I thought, that's it. I'm not going to have another boss or another colleague who's going to put me down.
I know. I know the
Without
feeling.
going into details,
and it's
enough.
funny okay, so it's funny. I have to say that it's funny that lasted so long with you because I knew by 2000 I will have my own business. I don't know what was it, but I don't like to be told what to do. I do not like to be told what to do. So I knew then I will start my business because I knew I don't like to have somebody above me give me direction on things. I'm like, no, I'm pretty much independent and I want my independence. But it's interesting it took you so long to finally.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, yeah, it took me so long. You know why? Because the patterns that I picked up were from childhood. And I never really kind of realized.
Yep.
So only like recently, as I moved back to Hungary, which we'll come to that point.
Yep.
But I realized that I was the good girl. and I was always there in my family to please people,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
to make the
Yeah.
atmosphere more amicable. And I had to do everything well. I had to bring the good marks and the good grades, and yeah, just don't rock the boat and just be a people pleaser. So I carried that pattern without knowing for so long. And I didn't have healthy boundaries because I had no boundaries, My job was to please. So what you don't need boundaries for that. So yeah.
So, okay. So so you went back to England after the Christmas. So what did you do?
So I was in England at the time. And then
Okay.
actually, so something very important happened as well. This was 7 years ago. I turned Christian. Some friends, Hungarian friends, asked me to go and translate in their church because there were some Hungarians. I thought, yeah, okay. Because by then, my daughter was about maybe 4 years old, 3 years old. And I can only describe it, I felt more socially responsible. I don't know. I have to give back, maybe being a mother. I don't know. And then they said, well, we did our own, we started, I was a founding member. We did a Hungarian weekend school. So every other week, which is also on my profile, every other week we had maybe 4 groups, and my own daughter was there. So then somebody asked me, come and translate. And I said, okay, I'll go. And the more I went, the more I heard about God and Jesus and the Bible, the more I wanted to go back. And then, cut a long story short, my sister got really ill. We didn't know if she would stay alive. Actually, she was in a coma for 5 days. And so 2 countries were praying for her. Yeah. And then she's okay now, actually. Yeah. So all that happened. And then I kept trying to find my way, with building my business and stuff. And I have to say that it was coming along slowly but surely.
Well, you know what? Okay, so something people need to understand when they create a business, people think that, oh, I'm creating a business, but tomorrow morning after breakfast, I'm going to be a billionaire. Let me say this, people. One, it's going to take time. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And yes, you got people who you see, oh my God, they are millionaire overnight because there is a product that came out and, that's a one-shot product. But businesses, 99% of them, it takes time to grow, to build. And the more organic it's happening, the more successful it will be. You cannot push something out there, spend thousands and thousands of dollars expecting your return on investment to be billions of dollars. So doing it organically, like you're doing it, like I do mine as well, have more fruits and benefits, even though we feel like, well, I wish to have $1 million, $10 million on my banking account by now. It's like it's coming, but you have to continue to grow with your company.
Wow.
You're not quite there. And a lot of people don't understand that. I did it on the last masterclass I did, my first masterclass, the last one. And I'm doing an encore next week, this coming week on my masterclass. But I don't know, at the end, I had 15 minutes and I was just passing information to people, but I made them understood. You need to understand it is an extension of you. Don't try to be somebody else's. Don't try to push anything that's forcing things. You have to follow the road. And I know we have the instinct to, okay, I want to pass by all of this and be at the end. It's like, no, the journey is where it's going to get you there. And the journey is the growth in that journey is essential. When I was younger, when people say, well, that's the journey doesn't matter. And I'm like, you are smoking the carpet, people, because I want the goal. I don't want the journey. Give me the highway, the train, that high-speed train to go straight down to the goal. I want the goal. No, I realized later on when you're more mature and you're not a kid, then the journey is so essential because this is how you build your business. You need to build the foundation, the walls, you need to build the roof, you need to build the windows, you need to build everything. You cannot be on ice. Most companies, and I'm talking billion-dollar companies, you go in, you observe them, and they are all on thin ice because they're using shortcut, because their sales, it's what keep them to survive, but they don't have the right foundation. So the way you're doing your business, the way you're learning and growing, it is the right way. You're building it the right way. And yes, it takes time. So for people who are listening to this, it's a message for everybody who's listening to it too. It's not only you, Andrea, it's everybody, and a reminder for me as well.
That's amazing, Emma.
It's gonna bear its fruit. I'm telling you, what you're doing right now, within a 6 months frame, not even, you're gonna see the result of it, the fruits. You're going to see what's going to bear, and it's going to be wonderful. You're going to see it in less than 6 months. But again, leave your expectation, focus on what you're supposed to do, and see the goal at the end, and go with the direction and the flow you're supposed to go.
You said that so well, so eloquently.
It's the universe. It's not
it was just what I needed to hear. It's so encouraging. And you know what? As my confidence is growing, I almost feel like, this is going to sound so big-headed, that there is no way that I can fail, because I'm, as you said, I'm living. This is the extension of me. How can I fail who I am?
They will the failure you see, and I love Christine, because Christine, we did a podcast on failure actually. Failure. I don't like is it the one you say listened?
I think it's the third one. Well,
we
do talk about her list of failures.
And I don't. She loved that word. I don't like that word, because for people, failure means, oh, I'm done, I give up. It's like, no, for me, failure is a setback. It's like a door that closed because you're not supposed to go there. And a lot of people don't understand that. So for me, failure is a word that I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm starting to be a huge fan of because of Christine. Let's blame Christine Spencer on that.
You know what?
I'm naming her.
I love this because you're honest about the fact that you don't like the word failure, and I have the same feelings towards goals. I really hate the word goals, but I'm beginning to love goals, even though I'm finding other ways to, right? And a lot of people go, "Ooh, goals," but
phrase it. Use the word that feels right. For me, the word failure. Okay, now I can hear it. I don't go on a defensive. Say to people, "Okay, this is just a setback. It's a door that closed because you're not supposed to go there." So I don't have to re-justify this word anymore. But use the proper word for you. So me, I don't use failure. I just use the door closed, or it's a setback, because you need to learn something here. It's a detour. That's all. But if you don't like the word goal, rename it something that resonates. Good. Here we go.
Yeah. But I do realize sometimes we have to use it so that other people, you know what I mean? So anyway, today I heard this, success is doing what the failures, as in the person failures. Success is doing what the failures won't do or don't do. It's actually Jim Rohn. Success is doing what the failures won't do. So it's not really it doesn't have to be like a scary, mystical thing, failure and success. It's just what we do and what we don't do, right?
And and the problem is people feel like failure because of the people surrounding them, because people will point out to you, oh, you're failing, you're doing this and that. And I think it's a lot of pressure on people. When you remove that pressure and said, one is not a failure, think about the guy who created the WD-40. The WD-40 is a grease. So that an engineer created it. It took him 41 attempts to create that product. That's why it's called 39, not 42, 39. That's why it's called WD-40. The 40th time was when he succeeded. He wanted to find something that will grease for the hinges, for anything, so it will not make any noises. The guy is an engineer. Took him 39 attempts before he was able to find the right formula. He never gave up. He continued. He could have gave up at any point. He never did. He was determined to find the right formula for the WD-40. That's what he did. The WD-40, 40 means that was the last batch. That was the last one. Then he succeeded. It's like, okay, number 40 works, WD-40. But he got 39 setback. That did not work. That wasn't the right formula. And he finally got it right. Here we go. So for people, think about failure or as a setback as, okay, that's not the right direction for me. So I need to step back and figure it out how. Maybe you start a business, you have an idea for a business and it's not working. Maybe the product need to be tweaked, the service need to be tweaked, something need to be slightly different.
Yes, I agree. And of course, this can be applied to learning a language and putting yourself out there with every single sentence. You basically,
and
you
had a very good point as well when you said I had to build up my confidence. So imagine for a sec, the universe is watching you and said, okay, Andrea has her business, is going to be successful. However, in that journey, in her path, she needs to learn to be confident. She needs to learn to accept the word goal. She needs to accept you are successful. She needs to accept a lot of things. So before everything in the door of prosperity, of success, whatever you want to call it, opens, the people come and flood to the doors, you need to learn this. If you don't learn to be confident, how people will come to you and approach you and say, well, Andrea is the right person for me. If you're not confident, they're going to feel it. You have to own it first.
Absolutely.
If you don't own it, people are not going to come. The universe is not going to send you for failure. They can't. The universe is not here. People have an idea of God being, oh my God, we're fearing. God is love. And I don't use the word God. I use the word universe.
Yeah.
There's a reason behind. I said it several times. It's one of my sisters don't believe in God. And I don't care I don't care who believes or not, but I use the word universe when I talk to her. So I always use the word universe. Rarely I use God, the word God, but today we're using God. Today is a God day. So when you think about it, the universe or God is never going to give you your reward. Because it's God is love, unconditional love. It doesn't hate you. It doesn't want to punish you. We're the one who do stupid things, so karma can bite our rear end. We are transgressing some crap. Then you pay. If you do good, you do good. If you do bad, you receive bad. When you do your business, and they see it's like, okay, Andrea is going to be successful at what she does, but right now she's in a growing phase. A company is like us. You got the baby where you start to create the name of the company. You started to have it on paper. You're like, okay, I'm now legally here. Everybody knows I have my taxes ID. I got everything. Then it goes to from the toddler. I'm starting first, figure it out. Okay, I need to get my website. I need this. I need that. Then you go to the teenage years where it's like, wow, I'm going to go crazy. Then the adult phase where the maturity of your business comes and the people are coming and flooding. But right now you're between the toddler, you move to the toddler, to the young adults, to the teenage years where you're like, holy crap, I have things to learn. The universe is never going to open the gate and said, I'm going to send you the people right now, everybody at the same time, because you're not quite ready.
It would
and
just,
people,
yeah,
it,
it would
and
just
people
ruin
don't,
it. Yeah.
And people don't understand that. It's like, yes, you got an idea. Yes, it's going to happen. But again, it is not a sprint. It's a marathon. All right. It can take for you to get very successful in your business. For people who learn very quickly and have all of the skill set, it can then take them maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years. And some are going to take a little longer. Maybe it's going to take 5, 6, 7 years. But there is a growth and a maturity you need to go through yourself and transformation before the universe said, okay, Andrea is ready. I will say within less than 6 months, honey, you're going to have a lot of people coming and talking to you. Less than that.
Amen.
Mark my word. I'm telling you right now, because I do readings, but I don't do anymore. I do only few readings for private people than I do. But that's, information that's passed on to me right now. So I'm just delivering what I'm supposed to say. But the idea is the growth and the maturity, and people don't understand. It's like, I don't understand, it's not successful. Well, yeah, because you need to grow. You need to learn things along the way. You are not quite ready to deal with the inflow of everything else. If you got 10,000 people coming to you by tomorrow morning after breakfast, are you ready to handle them?
No.
Here we go.
No, because, and can I just say that the way I look at it, I absolutely agree with you. However, I would phrase it in my world, I would phrase it that God just gives you enough blessings because you wouldn't be able to handle it. So even,
Oh, honey, I don't agree with this one. You know why? Because you think that way, but some days, like you got the challenge with that young kid. That was a girl, isn't it? The one who wasn't speaking.
yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Did you felt that time it was way more all of the time it was way more overwhelming than you thought it was? You did not?
Um, it was very overwhelming. Yeah.
Exactly. So I would be cautious on that
Yeah.
because, yeah, the universe will throw you thing and curve because they know you can handle it. But sometimes we don't see it as, oh, I can handle it. You see it, this thing coming. It's like, holy crap, here's the enchilada
Yeah.
coming.
But
Oh my God.
okay.
But we
But
are capable to handle it, but we have to find a way to process it within ourselves. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yes. Yes. Of course. But I was talking about blessings. You know, when the good things come,
Oh, no, the good things come, but
the
it can be
blessings.
very overwhelming. I'm talking,
Yeah. But what I
what I'm
mean is, he
talking
doesn't give
is,
it all
yeah.
to you. He doesn't dump it all on you.
Oh, it depends. Sometimes he will challenge you and give you all, and you're like, really? Do you really think I can do it? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you
Just
can. I'm like,
about.
no, I
Just about.
can't. Like you're going too fast.
Yeah.
Sometimes the speed of things coming in, it's not the speed we're expecting. Sometimes it can
Oh,
go faster than you're
tell me
like,
about it. I
oh,
feel like
crapola.
I've been on a speedy train, fast train, one of the Japanese ones for I don't know, for years now,
Me
actually.
too. But things will accelerate, things will take a very interesting turn. But again, it's part of the growth of your business and your own self because you're growing with your company. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand why I'm not successful, why I'm not this and that. I said, stop questioning yourself. See where you are, see what you got to do and how it grows. Maybe you need to think outside of the box, you need to modify, you need to shift. I have shifted since I started my own business quite several times. And now I have things coming my way, and it's like, holy crap. I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks, universe. But I shift and I grew since I started my business to what I'm doing. I have shifted and I've changed what I'm doing because I said I don't do readings anymore. However, I use this for the businesses to grow. I use what I see to the
Intuition.
businesses.
Hmm.
So I see how to help businesses
Hmm.
with what I see. But it's very interesting when you start to evolve and change as well. So you need to allow yourself the flexibility. And I think it's the hardest part for people when you have a set mind and say, oh, I'm going to teach English as a second language. And I see it this way. Then the
Hmm.
universe like, you're going to modify it because you're going to put it your style, but this is not how to. You got your toolbox, you got your foundation,
Yeah.
but you're going to, with the other skill set you have learned and continue to learn, you're going to make it slightly different than what you thought it would
Absolutely.
be at the beginning.
Absolutely. I agree. And that those are the people who give up. And I don't want to give up. And
You
so
know,
I'm
some
embracing, letting go of perfectionism. I mean, Christy mentioned, recovering perfectionist. I was like, yeah, that's me. And then
yep.
some other things, she mentioned, but people can listen to the podcast
No,
because
but
it was
what is
great.
in it's good she mentioned that. So here's the deal too. And I have done it several times. And I know a lot of people because I have somebody that said the same thing to me. He said to me, before you go and you're successful, you're gonna have some roadblock, and the last one will be the worst one. Before you go on the other side and say, okay, I made it. And a lot of people give up at this one. They miss that opportunity to take the rage. And that's what I did. I pulled the rage, what I got left in the tank. I moved that rage into holy crap, and I'm polite. And I plow and I just throw myself into the last challenge. And I was just crawling, but I pass over and I look around. I'm like, well, that wasn't that bad. I said, what is wrong with me? But it was like, holy crap. It was the biggest challenge. And generally, when you start a business, there is always challenges, but they increase and increase to the point it's like, I'm getting tired to face challenges left and right and not have any rest. And the biggest one comes at the end because you're being tested. You're always going to be tested.
I
And
actually
then
want
you
to,
pass over.
yeah, I agree. Actually, can I just read a couple of sentences? I'm going to go and grab it. This is
Go for it.
very much, um, You're gonna see. One sec.
Yeah, okay. So Andrea is gonna go grab her notes because I'm just speaking in between. So we are not gonna go through the entire thing with this time around with Andrea. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have her coming back for a second session with us, continue to talk. So, but yes, go ahead, Andrea. I was just saying to people, don't expect to have the full story today because I'm looking at the time and it's like, no, she's coming back next month for part 2.
Thank you.
And my dog stole some of my flowers.
Oh, what type of dog do you have?
I have, this one is the baby one, and is the trouble one, is a Dachshund mix Jack Russell.
Really?
Yeah, this one is a baby one, and he's a troubled little boy, Mr. Lulu. He's part of the tribe, but the other two are way bigger than him. One is they call it American Pitbull, which is lab mix boxer, and the other one is a Chesapeake Bay mixed Sharpie.
Oh,
they're adorable, but this one,
my daughter's favorite is sausage dog. We call it a sausage dog, the Dutch kind.
Like a little Dachshund.
Oh, yeah. She just loves them, yeah.
So go ahead. What would you like to share with us?
So this is something my friend shared with me, my very, very, very good friend, and she's also my coach. It says, your calling is going to crush you. Mm-hmm. If you're called to mend the brokenhearted, you're going to wrestle with a broken heart. If you're called to heal God's little ones, you're going to experience your own share of trauma. If you're called to empower, your self-esteem will be attacked. Your success is hard fought. If you're called to preach and teach the gospel, you will be sifted for the wisdom that anoints your message. Your calling will come with spiritual warfare and sifting. Both are necessary for your mental to be authentic, humble, and powerful. Your crushing won't be easy because your assignment is not easy, and you can't minister powerfully what you haven't walked out. Yeah, I'm going to stop there. That really spoke to me, and it really encourages me that it's okay. What I'm going through is needed.
People need to understand it's not an easy road we're taking. You are a trailblazer. You open to uncharted territory, meaning you are, yes, we all do. You are trailblazers. You walk on a path less traveled. Not at all. It's like you are in the snow and look at around you and there is no footprint. You're the one creating those footprint. And a lot of people don't realize that. You're a pioneer. Think about it. Unless, it's passed down from generation to generation, but it's not the case. You decided to do this. I decided to have my own business. Think of being a pioneer, an inspiration for your daughter as well, because she sees you as a trailblazer, as an entrepreneur.
Emma, so how do you know all that about me? It's like me talking, but you're talking.
Oh, honey, it's the universe talking through Honey, it's the universe talking. It's not me.
Oh my goodness!
I told you I do reading. I'm a medium.
Okay.
Yes, when I talk, that's why when I talk to people, when I do my podcast, it's like we're in a bubble right now. It's like we have a bubble of, you should feel the bubble. We're in a bubble of energy and the universe is talking. I'm not talking. Like I said to people, when I do my podcast, it's not me talking. When I'm doing my reading, when I write my blogs, it's not me. It's the universe passing information. That's what I do. I pass information. I give you what you and the audience needs to hear because that will resonate with people. That's why I'm here for.
Amazing.
Encourage, empower people. So amazing. That's why. So what we're talking today is about empowerment. It's not about only you to tell you you're on the right path. You're a pioneer. You're creating something nobody else before you has done.
And incidentally, my 10-week program is called Empower Your English Voice.
Exactly. So let's talk about this briefly because we're coming at the up of the hour for that. And as I said, Andrea's coming back next month. She doesn't have a choice.
Oh, okay.
And, you do. We're not done talking, but we got, we're doing an hour. So
we're just getting started.
We're just getting started, people. We're coming back. I'm telling you, it's like Christine, she's coming back. We should do a Oh, we should do a three ways. I don't want to say a threesome. That sounds so bad, but I'm gonna have Christine probably coming with us and do a full one with the three of us. I think it will be super empowering to have the three
Cool.
of
I'd
us
love
in there.
that.
I'm
I'd
gonna
love
tell
that.
Christine to show up. So
I'd love
how
that.
people can connect with you, because you are really inspiring for helping individuals to master English as a second language, or because it's not your first language,
Yeah.
language
But
or more. Number 10 if you talk more,
Yeah.
speak more languages. So how they can reach out to you?
So yeah, we call it second language or foreign language. So ESL or
Yes.
EFL, isn't it? For the reason
Yes.
that you mentioned. And people can reach me through my email. They can write me an email, or they could find me on LinkedIn.
Yep.
I'm posting every day. I post every day. I'm very active on there. I actually started posting videos on TikTok.
Woohoo!
That was a major step for me because I really hated TikTok. But here we go. Breaking down those, barriers and empowering myself.
Yep.
So, and also YouTube channel as well. So every Friday I have a YouTube video where I just talk about stuff.
What is the YouTube channel? What is the name of your YouTube channel?
The YouTube channel is called I Talk with Andrea.
Okay, cool. I will put this into the details of this podcast so people can reach out to you and know where to find you. So as I said, we're at the top of the hours and we'll continue conversation next month. So Andrea is an absolutely wonderful teacher for second language, which is English, and will help you to master and speak English and help you to be more comfortable. Because again, people who don't understand, speaking English or any other languages, actually, they don't understand that you have to think a different way. There is a way to formulate. So you have to train your brain. And it took me 6 months when I was here over 2 decades ago for my brain to finally switch automatically. So I don't have to think about which language I'm speaking. It's automatic. When somebody speaks one language, I automatically respond, well, except I do not anymore between the Italian and the Spanish, but that's another different story for a different day. But I go automatically and speak the language without thinking and trying to translate in my head, because the hardest part, you have a tendency to translate. So we'll talk more on this one on our next podcast, because that's
talk more about my program. And who is my ideal client, because the program is different, from other things that I do. So we'll talk more in depth. So, but I'm very happy that you were with me today. And again, we are Saturday, by the way, people. So just to let you know, so that's mean in a couple of days, this one will be released on Monday. That will be our first podcast for the week. Yay! Yay!
And it will be on my YouTube channel as well.
Cool.
Yes, I will publish it on a YouTube channel. And Andrea is coming back next month. We're gonna talk afterwards and schedule our next podcast, so we can do that. And I will have to connect with Kristen, and we need to do a 3-way.
Be careful.
Oh, I know, but that's gonna be fun. I love Kristen. I love Kristen to pieces. I love her to death. She's awesome, and I don't know, she's just such a bubble, a creative person, and I love her. So, but no, thank you so much. Would you like to say something else that you wanted to share before we close the podcast for today?
Yes, I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and I can't wait to come back and do this again. And I'm very excited for 2023, because I think it's going to be an awesome year. So, and let's go people, let's do this. Let's not wait any longer. What are we waiting for, right?
Exactly. I agree with you. It's going to be a very good year. Plus it's numerology, and I don't do numerology, but it's number 7. So it's like, that's perfect. Number 7 is creation. It's perfect. I'm like, yeah, good number. So, and I don't do numerology. I don't, but I heard it. I'm like, oh, that's better than 222. I'm like, perfect. Hey, 7. Yay. Good number.
7 is a good number. Yeah.
7, yeah.
So is a very good number.
Yeah. Ooh. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, Emma.
And we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Universe podcast.